Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 405. I was white here and played e4, and my opponent goes for g6, and we get the modern defense. So I go with d4, the main move, and he goes bishop g7. That's the main difference between the modern and the Pirtz. The Pirtz defense has the knight coming out here to f6 right away. So with the bishop here, with no pawn moves being made to allow the queen to come out along this diagonal, it is safe to play the move f4 here. But apparently it's not the best. You can see it's way down on the list of likely moves. So the knight moves are traditional way to play, and also pawn to c4. Classic ways to build up a big center. I thought f4 would be okay, and it's not a terrible move, but and let the chess engine settle down a little bit. It was all over the map. Yeah, it still leaves an opening advantage to white, but maybe it's not quite as precise as those other moves. Anyway, after my opponent's move e6, we're basically out of the opening book, so we'll just take a look at it from here. I decided to push on with... Oh, cancel that. Oh, the engine's recommending e5 immediately. Yeah, I developed my knight. Knight e7. And that's the idea with one of the ideas with the early bishop deployment and delaying the decision on where to put the knight. If the knight's not on f3, this bishop has an open field of view down the board. So just a different way to play, but interesting. Bishop d3, just supporting the center, both sides castle. And f5. So this move f5 is interesting. I think maybe it's not good because I just reply with e5. You know, he's possibly trying to undermine my center, but this is a pretty strong triangle of pawns, and it keeps his bishop confined. So this piece that he wants to make into a strong piece is now pretty much out of the game for a while at least. So I think this opening has been a success for me. I thought, although he had other ways to play this. Instead of f5, yeah, it's funny. The chess engine is recommending d5. The bishop behind, not that move, d5, which I would think would lead to some of the same problems. Although after e5 here, he could undermine it with f6, perhaps. Okay, he went with the f5 push. I pushed on, and then he undermined with d6. So that's logical. I've set up this pawn triangle, and he wants to try and undermine it so he can liberate his bishop. I move my queen to e1, getting over here to look at the king side. I have ideas of queen here and knight to this square and checkmate on h7. Very direct approach. Okay, we get the exchange in the center. Cancel that. I take back with this pawn, leaving an open file here. I'm thinking maybe I'll get a rook here against his queen. Knight b c6, so let's complete our development. Bishop e3, knight d5. Kicking my bishop, which is a little bit annoying, so I drop the bishop back. a5, expanding on the queen side. I play a3, I don't want to keep his... I want to stop his pawn at some point from going forward, and also I want to take control of this b4 square, which would be a bit annoying to have a knight there harassing my bishop. So a3, sort of a dual-purpose move. Knight c to e7. Just some maneuvering here. I get my other knight out, and he decides to take, and puts another knight on d5. So he really had an extra knight, a surplus knight, so he trades it off, and then he's got a good knight here. And I'm going to chase this away with the move c5. C4 rather. So I drop my bishop back so I can move the c-pawn. He plays a good move here, c6. And if I'm going to play c4, I should probably play it immediately. Let's see, is there a threat here? It leaves this bishop a little bit weak. I think that's why I moved my rook to d1. Let's just to investigate a bit. If I play c4 immediately, yeah, he has a tactic. Knight takes f4, taking advantage of the loose rook here, the loose bishop, winning a pawn. So I can't play c4 immediately. So I played the move rook d1, putting my rook on this file and solving the problem. But he plays the move b5. So this was a nice sequence by black here. It's effectively stopped my move c4, which I play anyway. I think, well, I'm thinking of busting up his pawn structure here. But there's a tactical flaw with this move here, which he exploits quite nicely. So if you want to take a look at this position and ask yourself what's wrong with the move c4. It's a little tactical quiz for you. Okay, I'm given the answer now. It's after c4, he takes the pawn. I take back, and then he has this check. And it's just a simple fork, hitting my king and hitting the pawn. And now the recommended move by the computer is rook f2, and with some kind of veiled threat, if the queen takes on the b pawn, yeah, maybe I can grab on a5 and get the pawn back at least. But well, I didn't play that. It's sometimes a bit awkward to have your knight in a pin. You'd certainly have to calculate very carefully to see if there's a way for black to exploit that pin. So I just moved the king out of the way, but now he can safely grab the pawn, and so I'm a little bit worse here. But it's not so bad. I mean, he's got weaknesses as well, so it's not a winning position for black. It's just I've given him an edge. Okay, so rook a1, I don't want to lose another pawn. He plays bishop a6, going after my bishop, and I trade it off, and play the move rook f2, now trying to chase his queen away. The queen drops all the way back to b7, and I go knight d4, going after the weak pawn, and he goes queen to e7. Okay, so at this point I decide it's safe to take this guy. And my queen backing up the bishop, so I snag a pawn over here. Looks like queen a7 would be a way to exploit this. I mean, the bishop is a bit loose here. It's defended by the queen, but it's also under attack. So queen a7, yeah, is actually a double attack because it's hitting the knight there and the bishop. So it's a way to take advantage of two loose pieces. Let's see, is there a defense to this? Because it doesn't... let's drop. I guess I can drop the bishop back to c3, defending the knight. Hold on to both those pieces, but you know, then he at least snags his pawn over here. So that would have been a good move for black at this point after I grabbed the pawn. So that pawn grab was not really good. He pushes on with c5, kicking my knight, and go knight to e2. He goes knight to e3. Dropping in on my camp. It's always a bit annoying when your opponent's pieces can start showing up that close. You never know what sort of tactics are going to pop up here. I drop back to g1 to try and chase this knight away, but you can see that black really has the initiative. I've gotten a pawn back, so material is even, but black's advantage has been transformed from a material advantage to an advantage in activity of his pieces. He's got great squares for us. So this knight is now pretty well lodged there. It's hitting my rook, and I make a horrible blunder here. I play the move rook d2. So if you take a second and look at this, can you figure out why rook d2 is a blunder? Okay, I'm going to play it. The problem with rook d2 is that the bishop is no longer defended, and he can just take it. And I didn't notice it till a move later. Fortunately for me, he didn't take my bishop. He played bishop to h6. Also a good move. I mean, he's targeting a weakness here that I can't easily defend. The rook can't get back to this square because the knight just chased it off, and it can't get to this square and defend from the side because the knight, the pawn controls that square. And also my bishop is still hanging, which I had realized by this point. So anyway, I move the rook, so at least I won't lose the bishop, but he can grab a pawn. And now he's got a winning advantage at this point. He has the better position and material. He's got a passed pawn here, and my pieces are a bit tied up and chased back. So black should really just go on to win this game. But anyway, I start out with g3, kicking the bishop. And now queen takes b7 check. No, queen to b7 check. Yeah, so he's got a winning attack here at this point with queen. He didn't play this. Queen to b7 check. Yeah, I think I noticed this during the game. There's no good squares on this diagonal for me to stop that check. Nothing I can blockade. Like the rook here, he can just take it. Rook to g2 has to be played. Yeah, it's the only move to stay on the game. And then he can play knight e3, defended by his bishop and attacking my rook. Yeah, so it's game over. But he played bishop takes e5, grabbing another pawn. I go rook b1. So let's see how I get back into the game. Queen g5. Yeah, he's still ignoring this check on the diagonal idea, fortunately for me. And now now it's not so clear. Bishop to d2 I play. And so I had a way. What's this? Knight f3. Knight f3. And I thought his queen would just drop back to f6. So if I play knight f3, queen f6, what's the follow-up? Rook takes e5. Oh yeah, I'm hitting his queen, and this piece is insufficiently defended. So he gets, I get 2 pieces for a rook in this exchange, and he still has some extra pawns. But anyway, my pieces have been activated. So that knight f3 move, that was the move to play there. Okay, so I was tired of having to worry about this bishop being defended over here, and I dropped back. But now he's once again got the advantage. I missed my shot. So he pushes on with f4. I play knight to h3 to round up the pawn. Knight f3 still would have been good. And now he spots the check on the diagonal, but now it's not so great. And after a few more moves, let's see, when was that? He was still keeping the advantage all through here. It was knight takes e5 was his mistake here. So he needed to play. Oh, there's only, yeah, it's getting a little bit tricky. There's only one good move that keeps the advantage for black here, and that's rook to e6. And I really don't know if I would have found this move, even if I had time to look for it. Rook to, cancel that. Rook to e6. What's the idea here? It's a pin on the bishop, I guess. Although the bishop can move. Bishop drops back to f4. Then knight takes h2. Okay, so this is a complicated tactical sequence. Rook takes h2, sacrificing the knight and giving up the queen, or king takes h2, leading to queen h5 check. And that's the point. Queen h5 check. It's a double attack on the rook, so he's winning a rook at least there. So let's back up. It's rook e6 going after the bishop. Bishop retreats, sacrificing the knight on h2. King takes, and then check, winning the rook. So that's a bit hard to see in a blitz game. You could figure something like that out in a slow game, but in a blitz game you're not going to find that. So practically this is a reasonable move. It was actually the second choice of the engine, but it leaves us with an even game now. Sometimes you have only moves where you have to play that move and everything else is one move wins and all the other moves draw, and that was an example. Okay, so now we can give a few more checks, but I can interpose with the queen, and it's all drawish through here. So he's lost his advantage, and it's even material. So this game should end in a draw. So rook takes, cancel that. Rook takes a3. Oh, he grabbed a pawn over here. I trade queens. He takes. So he does get an extra pawn, but it's not going to be easy for him to keep it because my rooks are well placed, and he can't easily get his rooks in to defend it. He has to kind of defend awkwardly from the side because my rook here is blocking the natural defense from behind. So now I can bring my king up to chase his rooks around a little bit, and you can see the evaluation is just all completely even. Rook e2 check. He can chase my king around a bit, and now he said, aha, I can advance my pawn with check, which he did, but that move is a mistake, of course, because that left his rook hanging. So he resigned at this point, but basically he has to settle for a draw at this point. Let's see, he could take here. That's an interesting trying to grab my a pawn and just giving up on this pawn. Rook to a5. Maybe coming over to harass my king somewhat. But with both pawns on one side of the board and a 2-to-1 pawn, this is still a drawn position. So anyway, after d2 check and I take the rook, he resigns. So a lucky win for me. Actually a very well played game by my opponent till towards the end of the game he started missing his tactical shots. So he built up a winning advantage with good play, but he just wasn't able to convert it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.